The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good Monday morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN just after 9 a.m. Eastern Time. We got about 24 minutes to go until the start of trading, and we got markets in positive territory, challenging the highs of Friday morning. We had a hot jobs number on Friday, a little volatility to the upside, and you pick things up this morning at 6,016, just off of the highs of Friday. We're up by 9 points in the S&Ps. NASDAQ 100, we're up by 22 points, trading at 21,812. Dow up by 44 points, 42,853 in the Russell. Up almost a full percentage point, trading at 2153, up by 20 points. How about Bitcoin? 108,490. I mean, you're talking about up $8,000 from where we were on Friday, making a run for those all-time highs yet again. Bitcoin, quite a little bit, 108,000 and change right now. We've been talking about Ethereum. Ethereum, up $57, $25.54, but vastly underperforming Bitcoin recently. How about crude having a moment, right? Crude up by 9 pennies, holding well above $64. And yeah, you're talking about right near the highs of April 23rd, $64.87 on that crude contract. We jumped to notes and bonds. And just chopping around, we were at 449 this morning. Let's check it out. The 10-year. 451. So just like that, we're back above 4.5. A little bit of lower price, yeah, a little bit lower than when I was looking at it this morning at about 6, 7 in the morning. And you're sitting with 4.51 on the 10-year right now. And there's a little strength for you in the dollar, back above 99, excuse me. But all things considered, as I put it out in the newsletter this morning, dollar looks weak. Now that was when we had a 98 handle, but can't get above anything near 100 right now. And we're chopping around near the lows of 99.17 in the DXY. And gold rejects 3,400 yet again. Last week, this is a daily. We trade lower with some volume the last couple days. You take a look at the gold contract on a weekly. You see we got volume at the top there, volume off the top from 35.09. And since then, you've had declining volume, chopping around, right? You do 1.2 million the week of May 5th, 1.2 million the week of May 12th, 1.1 million the 19th, 880,000 the week of May 26th, and last week you barely do 900,000. Okay, so we're just chopping. Now, silver. How about the week silver had, man? Check out the weekly. That's how you like to break it, man. Right? We're coming down, low volume, low volume, low volume, all the way in this consolidation, and then boom, there's your breakout last week on silver. You do 402,000 contracts on a weekly basis. You get above 36. We're holding above it. Silver up another almost 1% today. And what you like to see is the volume here. Now, you don't want to see it begin to drop off. The real acceleration was Thursday. You got some nice follow-through on Friday. Still decent volume, although less than Thursday's action. And watch for today's. Okay, we're going to sputter out on volume. We're going to get some more acceleration. It's going to matter what the dollar does. Dollar catching a little bit of strength right now, but silver performing well yet again. All right, we jump to the headlines, and let's kick it off with U.S. and China. Probably the headline that's most likely to play an impact in terms of the market. You could think National Guard troops in California, not mattering at all, man. Not in this market right now. What are we talking about? We're talking about tariffs, and we're talking about trade, okay? And inflation, which is coming down the line. U.S.-China trade talks start in London, aiming to ease the export curbs is the headline. But nonetheless, they begin with the U.S. signaling a willingness to remove restrictions on exports in exchange for assurances that China is easing limits on those rare earth shipments. Yeah. 1 p.m. local time is when it's set to start at the U.K., so it's already begun. If you're talking about that, what are they, 5-6 hours ahead? So that kicks off. We'll see where we go. Now, next thing in line, how about Apple? 1 o'clock today. I believe it's 1 o'clock. Let's see if they put it at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 o'clock Eastern time. You'll get the keynote address, okay? They're going to be talking about a redesign of the software interfaces. I don't think that's going to be a big impetus for the stock change. But they're also talking about the branding, which is going to shift from version numbers to a year-based system. Yeah, so that means what is it going to be? You're going to have iOS 26, iOS 27, right, et cetera, in the year 2026. And yeah, they'll be talking some AI as well. We jump over to Apple shares ahead of their Worldwide Developer Conference beginning. And yeah, you're up about $1 with this market right now. Apple shares trading at 204.84 from 203.92. Another equity in the green this morning is Amazon catching a bid, up to almost 215 in the pre-market. You closed at 213.57 on Friday. Google shares in the positive, 175. We jump over to Microsoft right now, slightly in the red to 469. Meta shares at 698. We jump over to Tesla, down $7 at 288. They got a downgrade, I believe, today. Yeah, we've been talking about, man. You break below this level, the lows are out there. And you're trading right now at 288. You got highs out there, whether it's the high of March 27th, right? March 25th, when you're coming into Liberation Day. That spike high from April 28th, as in you're in a very important technical area. You accelerate lower with volume on Thursday. And that was still some pretty sustained volume on Friday. And remember, we gave up those gains on Friday. Right? Look where we were. You were all the way up to 305 on Friday almost. Yeah, not almost. You were up to 305. Was it 3? Yeah, 305.50 on Friday. And we're opening at 288. Watch out for that 273. A lot of headwinds facing Tesla right now, to put it lightly. All right, Warner Brothers Discovery this morning. They're going to be chopping up that company into two parts. Yeah. So they're going to split into two publicly traded companies by next year. One is going to host the streaming services and movie properties, while the other is going to include the cable networks such as CNN and TNT. Now, what's interesting, right, is that as somebody that enjoys Max, I do, they always call their news section like a beta section, which was basically just CNN. And I guess that wasn't panning out too well. Now, it's going to be interesting to see how it goes with the sports angle, too. Because one of the reasons they were trying to go Max, right? They wanted to get away from HBO, and they wanted to go Max. Well, I can tell you, folks, as somebody that doesn't have cable television in my home right now, okay, I cut the cord, and I probably have every other streaming platform you can have. It's not like I'm saving money. Whether you talk about, I have Max, I got Paramount, I got Peacock, I got Netflix, I got Prime. What else we got? I feel like I'm missing one. But when it comes to Warner Brothers, I was watching the Stanley Cup Finals on there. Okay, well, guess what? If they break it up, I love HBO. Okay, I was watching HBO. I watched Bill Maher this weekend as well. But I love the sports angle. As somebody that doesn't have cable TV, whether you're talking about the NBA games are on there sometimes, you get the Stanley Cup Finals on there. That's not happening anymore. Nonetheless, they're liking that. Warner Brothers hire. Stay tuned, folks. We'll come right back.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to most people. They think it's too volatile and risky. Most people aren't going to take the time to educate themselves on how to do it right. But you're not most people, are you? At TFNN, you'll get the guidance you need to refine your strategies and techniques to invest like a pro. Because you'll be a pro. All TFNN subscriptions, books, software, and courses are available at TFNN.com. And I'm even going to tell you how to get them for less. Use TFNN's Tiger Dollars and you'll get up to a 20% bonus on your purchase. And once you apply them to your account, Tiger Dollars are automatically used for all future or recurring charges. Tiger Dollars also never expire, are fully transferable, and are a great way to add savings to your newsletters or services. Become the investor you were born to be at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This portion of the Morning Market Kickoff is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Welcome back, folks. You got Warner Brothers Discovery pushing 1070 on that breakup. So it is going to be interesting to see how this whole landscape. Now, Netflix, man, they've been on a tear of all tears. This chart is something else, folks. It's a one-way trip from 162 to 1241 for Netflix shares. Warner Brothers Discovery, one-way trip from the Bill Huang saga, from $78 down to $6, down to $9. Nonetheless, they're going to make that split. But as somebody that loves HBO, I'm telling you, as an avid subscriber, I appreciate having TNT in there. Taking the cable networks out, the streaming, I appreciate having those networks in there in terms of the streaming, in terms of the live sports. We'll see how that plays out. Two publicly traded companies coming at you. But boy, you got to like that if you're in there. You're talking about almost a 10% pop in the pre-market for Warner Brothers Discovery, up to 1070. All right, so talking a little bit of Apple, finishing that up. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what they have to say for AI. We're going to take a look at a little price and volume for Apple right now, because they've been a laggard. They better catch up, man. Look at this pullback on Apple, right? You're back to where you were 2 years ago. 2 years ago. Now, this is an important technical area, all right? The 180 to 200 area goes deeper than that. You're talking about trading back to where you were at the end of 2021. Yeah, we're talking about 4 years of consolidation potentially for Apple. Now, that can be a bull and a bear case, right? You're talking about a 4-year consolidation. Come into the end of this year, pushing 180, but do not think 180 is out of the question, man. They're a laggard on AI right now. And I don't think anything's going to come out, and that's what they're talking about. Apple is already slow to launch its AI platform last year and indefinitely delayed a revamp of the Siri voice assistant. I was considering getting the current iPhone right now. I got a 12 Pro Max. 12 Pro Max. We're pushing 5 years old, that phone. And I operate so many things on it. So it's going to be time to upgrade at some point. They almost got me on the hook that the AI features would be something that you could really take advantage of with a new phone? No, that didn't happen at all. Now, you can see how Google, okay, we're talking about Google, you're talking about VO3, we're talking about video generation, some of those tools, right? Google was late to the AI party. What happens? They launch VO3. They talk about that they're going to basically pump out a service at $250 a month. The whole world takes notice. Apple doesn't have Gemini out there, okay? But don't be surprised if they're able to make leaps by teaming up with somebody to the same degree that just Google makes a leap just like that, and they're a player in the AI field. So 1 o'clock for Apple today. Now, what tends to happen is that you can trade higher potentially into that, and then you get a pullback, right? Buy the rumor, sell the news. There's nothing concrete that's going to be coming out of this from every estimation. You think that people are going to get excited over software? And that's already been known. Okay, Worldwide Developers Conference, and yes, that might be the most important thing they can talk about in terms of where you go. Software is going to be everything. Apple hasn't redesigned the software in forever, right? Nonetheless, how about Meta? Now, this one's interesting. I was reading about this company, okay? Scale AI. They have the picture of the gentleman in this article? Maybe they do. I'll get a picture. I was reading a couple articles about this guy, who did in terms of the young guy that's in charge of Scale AI. So Meta's thinking about putting $10 billion into this. That's not a value. That's not a valuation. That's their financing could exceed $10 billion in value for this company, Scale AI, making it one of the largest private company funding events of all time. Zuckerberg's all in, man. He's got his own nuclear reactor for 20 years. Imagine this now. Zuckerberg's got his own nuclear reactor for 20 years, coming online in a couple years now. And yeah, they're scaling it up in $10 billion. And what this company does is they basically tag data. It's about the AI data machine. They're a data company, and yeah, data is going to be everything, okay? Scale plays a key role in making AI data available for companies, okay? AI is only as good as the data that goes into it. Scale uses scads of contract workers to tidy up and tag images, text, and other data. Can you imagine this? I mean, you're basically just sorting data, categorizing it correctly so that the AI machines can read that data most efficiently, right? Founded in 2016 by Alexander Wang, it generated almost $1 billion in revenue last year. And you're going to be pushing $2 billion this year alone. That doesn't seem like that bad of a deal getting in. I mean, do you remember when Microsoft was getting in at the early days of OpenAI? What a bargain, right? But yeah, Scale has increasingly been working with the government to develop AI for defense purposes. And they have, and I was reading about it. I got to find the article I was reading about this gentleman. Is this the one? Yeah, this is the one. Okay, this is the gentleman. There he is. Alexander Wang. And yeah, he opened this company 10 years ago, 11 years ago, something like that. But how about that? An 11-figure investment. 11 figures. $10 billion potentially. Yeah, and to meet the needs of AI, right, this company has been turning to better paid contractors. You're talking about graduate degrees. And this is all about just tagging data. I don't say just. That's how important it is. %12 of the company's contributors who work on the process of improving the models had a PhD in fields such as molecular biology, and more than 40 had a master's, law degree, or MBA in their field. Highly sophisticated workers tagging data for AI, and Zuckerberg's going to pay them $10 billion. Watch out, baby. They're going to finance, right? They're going to invest. We'll see how that one plays out. Facebook's on a tear as well, pushing 698 so far this morning. All right, let's talk a little bonds. So we got the 10-year. We'll update that one. Sitting just above 4.5 right now. We jump over to the 30-year. And yeah, you got lower price. All right, and I'm pulling over the yield curve right now. And check it out, right? The 30-year keeps going up, folks. It's remarkable. What's up most? The 30-year. What's up the next most? Longer duration, 20-year. 10-year is basically flat this morning. You actually go negative down to the 2-year. In terms of the 2-year, down 2 basis points. But the 30-year, and I bring it up especially because we're going to get some auctions later this week. How about $22 billion of 30-year government bonds on Thursday? Okay, and you have 10-year bonds on Wednesday. Not sure if they talk about it in this one. Nonetheless, this one's talking about the 30-year. You got 10-year and 30-year. I think the 10-year is on Wednesday. You have an auction. The 30-year is the one to really watch. And yeah, you're seeing higher elevated yields today. And we'll see if there's buyers. Because it seems like buyers are drying up on that 30-year. We got lower price yet again. We got the S&Ps up by 9. Green across the board. We're coming back for the opening bell. Don't go away, folks.
This year has already been a wild ride for the market. We started off heavily in the red, reversed back to all-time highs, and we now have a trade war looming. Trying to play this chop as an individual trader leads to death by 1,000 cuts. Where does this market go next? Should I add to this position or cut my losses? Where is the next opportunity? Tariffs, trade wars, analysis paralysis. Don't become a victim of this intense market. Instead, join Larry Pesavento over the second and fourth Friday of every month for 3 hours of live trading. Larry has been through many markets just like this one, and the insight he provides is invaluable. The dates for this month are April 11th and 25th, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern Time. Get in here and let's start trading. TFNN, educating investors.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstack releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. We have markets open. You're looking at S&P up by 8, NASDAQ 100 up by 20, Dow up by 19, and the Russell up by 19 as well. Check out those, speaking of owning your own nuclear reactor. Kamiko, man, this thing is on fire, okay? Look at this acceleration, and look at this technical area, and yeah, that was the tariff acceleration, but you got to love these technical areas, right? From where we were, October 23, the double bottom in the middle of 24, you touch that area at the lows of April, and kaboom, you take off to the upside, and yeah, they got more going on. As they got adjusted EBITDA to rise to roughly 170 million, up another 6.3%. This thing just keeps going. They got a leg last week talking about Constellation Energy with their deal with Meta. And yeah, uranium. It's a play, man, and it's not going away. It's a play and it's not going away. Look at this run. Now, don't forget about the rise and fall of some of these commodity companies, folks, okay? There can be cyclical natures in these, and that's on a shorter term basis, this is a heck of a run over a 2-month period, doubling in price almost, let alone the runs we had from the lows of 2020, let alone where you were in 2022. But you could pick almost any equity out there, man. Check out Harmony, right? Look at the volatility. 2002, 2005, 2011, okay? Even you go back to 2020, Harmony was up to a high of $7.60, and you got to $1.94, okay? On the shorter-term basis, my dad would always say, folks, you can't just hold the equities in terms of gold, okay? They're cyclical in nature. We've had quite a run. You can hold the metal, okay? And geez, holding the metal, though, at these prices, you might be in for a consolidation, okay? But you can hold the metal. Because look at the metal over that time. Nothing like what, looks like in the equities. Look at the metal over that time. And I just showed you some of the best equities out there. Harmony, right? Even, let's look at Barrick. Look at those ones, right? You're pushing 19. How about 55 way back there for Barrick? Wheaton Precious Metals. This thing's on quite a run. This is quite an equity, man. All-time highs made last week. But look how we give it up, right? From 95, boom. You lose $7 in a heartbeat on some of these equities. Now, some of the other strongest ones out there, New Gold, been on quite a tear. Come on, data, catch up. Let's go. And folks, if you'd like to sign up, just put on a new issue of the Gold Report this morning. All right. IAG is another one. I Am Gold. Bumping up against the the top portion of their channel. AEM traded above that channel and broke back a little bit lower. AGI, another strong one, trading up 0.2% today. Let's check out New Gold. There's New Gold. Look at this one, man. Come on, data. And there's your weekly. There's going back. Yeah, quite a chart, man. New Gold is probably the strongest gold stock in the Gold Report right now, folks. Give you some free information if you're not subscribed. We don't have a position in it right now, unfortunately, okay? We've had a couple nice trades this year so far, but not in New Gold. And look at the way you accelerated to all-time highs with volume last week. That's how you do it, man. All right? That's how you do it. You break above, you do it with volume. That is strength. Put this thing back on a daily, and look at that strength. You break away, and what was that? Yeah, that was Thursday. You push the high, you extend those highs. You did give it up a little bit on Friday, but on a weekly basis, big moves. Now, silver, you talk about moves. Market's giving up a little. S&Ps are negative. Silver's got a moment going, man. This is real. Check out the weekly on silver. Watch this. Check out the volume. Look at the way you accelerate higher last week. That's how you do it. Okay, you take out all the highs, you do it with a large candle, you do it with volume. It's a real move in silver, man. Now, you could come back, you could test the 35 area, maybe you do that with a little bit lighter volume. That's what you're looking for if you're looking to get in silver, man. Here's your breakout. You look for some follow-through this week, and then a pullback on lighter volume, and that would be quality volume to the upside, and there's your confirmation. All right, market's giving it up a bit. Yeah, look at this selling. S&P is right back to 6,000, down about 4 points. NASDAQ has been extremely strong. You take a look at this thing on a daily, you're pushing almost that 22,000 mark, which is the highs you're talking about from February, and you're well above this consolidation we were talking about from February when the selling started. The high there was 21,386. You're 400 points above there. Versus the S&P, you can see you're right where the selling right? So you get the NASDAQ 100 about 2% above where the selling kind of began in late February. S&P is just bumping up against that 6,000 price point. Now, what we also get this week is we get CPI data on Wednesday, and we get PPI data on Thursday. And with Fed in focus, with rates, you see the move that we had on Friday on that jobs number, right? This market moving yields especially. Okay, yields were worried. As in with the private payrolls that we got last week on Wednesday, the 10-year traded up 1.5 points. And then, about a full point. 10-year trades up a point, thinking, hey, we're worried. The Fed's going to cut. ADP private payrolls was only 39,000 jobs added for the month of May. And then we get the reprieve on Friday, and the market says, nah, the economy's just fine. The Fed has said they're not cutting anytime soon, and that's not the case. Now, you can see how the market reacts, especially yields, especially the dollar. Okay, and if you're out there trading metals, that's going to be a big one. So CPI data on Wednesday, Fed's going to be watching. Then you get PPI data on Thursday to follow. All right, we jump around to some other equities this morning. Jump over to Tesla shares. Yeah, down about 3.6% today. So Robinhood down 7.8%. They were thinking that Robinhood might have been added to the S&P 500, and I guess it's not happening. Yeah, you had Robinhood, you had AppLovin, another one there. Both of them reaching for an S&P 500 nod. Didn't happen. You see it trading lower on the news that did not happen. They were considered possible candidates. And yeah, Robinhood was accelerating higher last week with AppLovin. You're giving up those gains just like that. Robinhood down 8.2%. Watch out. All right, let's check out some retailers. Walmart down about 0.3% right now. Ooh, look at Kohl's catching a bid. All right. Kohl's up by 5.3%. What's going on here? A little dead cat bounce. Hey, we're building quite a base here. Now you want to see some volume. Let's check out the weekly. All right, we had some volume that was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, drop off in volume last week. Did 42.5 million shares. And the problem is we're coming into this week on March 10th when you just cascaded lower on earnings. And think about the wall of volume you're coming through, right? Just on that bar alone. Kohl's, nonetheless, up by 50 pennies right now to up 5.5% to 9.23. TJX down 1.5%, and we finish it with Mickey D's down by 1.7. Markets in the red. Stay tuned, folks. We're coming back. We'll take a look at some more stocks. Don't go away.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at direction.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Welcome back, folks. Market's chopping around. S&P's flat right now with 6,007. NASDAQ negative by 5. And you jump around. Interesting one from the Journal out today talking about canned goods, steel. Guess what? Steel canned goods. Prices going up. The canned food aisle is getting squeezed by steel tariffs, of all things. Not what you're thinking. Your canned green beans or whatever you're buying. Soup, black beans, sliced pineapples could all soon become more expensive. Cans. That's it. Pretty remarkable, right? Not really something, but you see how these can kind of meander their way throughout many aspects of the economy. And yeah, that's quite a number, man, right? Tin plate is made with steel derived from molten iron, but most steel in the U.S. is now made from melted scrap, and that doesn't measure up to the can industry's exacting quality standards. Yeah, most steel in the U.S. is made from scrap, and that doesn't measure up with the can industry's exacting quality standards. Cleveland Cliffs no longer produces tin plate after closing their West Virginia last year plant. Look at that, right? U.S. imports of tin plate steel, 1.5 million tons. Canned goods. So we have two things going on today in terms of China. And yeah, as the headline here from CNBC, yeah, the market, they're waiting for details. Are we going to get it from China state media? Are we going to get it from Trump Truth Social? Right? Where's it going to come from? But expect that we're going to get, they're talking in London. It's 2:45 in the afternoon in London. I believe talks began at 1 o'clock, so they've been talking for an hour and 45 minutes already. I believe the call with Trump and Xi said maybe it lasted 90 minutes. But get ready for some headlines. And the other risk out there is unfortunately what's going on in LA. And pray and hope for the best, because not a good scene, and the potential exists for flaring up tensions, and that's not what anybody wants to see. And the market would take notice at some point. It's not taking any notice just yet, which is interesting. When you have that type of protest, you have the National Guard going in, you have the governor and the mayor saying they don't want the National Guard going in. Everything gets political, as is the case these days, especially when you have the president sending in the National Guard. But there is unrest, and that's not good for anybody, and we'll see if it hits the market at any point, and hopefully it doesn't, because it only would if it gets worse. All right, jump back to Apple. Holding on to the gains ahead of Worldwide Developer Conference. Apple up by 0.4%. Check in on Warner Brothers Discovery. They like that deal. Up 11% on the split up of their company. Now, the thing is, you're coming into this area of $10, $11, okay? If you tell me what range does Warner Brothers recently start facing some resistance to the upside, I'd say between $11 and $12. You take the cherry pick high out of 12, you put this thing on a weekly, and even 12 right here as well. Look at that. Right, you had some decent volume on that sell-off December of 23, and then you look at the action we had in terms of the volume up there. Boy, you had some volume up there on their earnings in February, and then you gave it up with the market. And we're coming right back into that area on the news. They're going to split into two different companies. Netflix down by 0.9%. If you're looking for a good movie, you got Amazon Prime. I watched The Accountant 2 over the weekend. Pretty good movie. I enjoyed The Accountant 1. Ben Affleck. And you know what I did too? I went straight. I had a little Ben Affleck Sunday. Good old Boston. Because I did that, and then Netflix had The Town. And folks, if you haven't seen the movie The Town from good old Charleston, Mass. Charleston. Is it Charleston, right? Yeah. Yeah, Charlestown. I should know myself, right? And then I watched The Town. Man, that movie's awesome. That's a great one. 2010, 15 years ago that movie came out, too. I was looking it up last night. The Town. If you haven't seen The Town, about bank robbers in Charleston. And yeah, it's a real deal. My dad would talk about it, too, man. Those bank robbers in Charlestown. Yeah, Charlestown, right? Somebody help me out in the den. Where's our man Duncan Steve? How do you say it, right? There we go. All right, let's check back in on this gold contract. Down about $6. We take a look at the dollar right now. Dollar just chopping around 99. Town. Yeah, thank you, though. That's what I thought. Charlestown. Those bank robbers in Charlestown. Check out The Town. There we go. Look at silver, man. Silver's having a real breakout here. This is how you do it with strength, man. It's all about the volume here, folks. You know, that was a nice break on Liberation Day. You chop around on lighter volume, though, in terms of that was 90-day reprieve, not Liberation Day, right? You get a bid with the market. But, boy, look at this breakout, man. Last week, 402,000 contracts, and you're starting off the week with strength again. And that's your follow-through right there on silver. Yeah, look at these silver stocks, right? Pan American, trades high with volume, breaks back in the channel that it had last year that you broke out of. And yeah, you might be going to 35 for Pan American. Now, what's interesting is MAG, I was talking about this in the gold report this week. If you're looking at MAG, okay, MAG's getting bought by Pan American at like $20.54 or something like that. So you say to yourself, well, how are you even higher than that? How are you higher than the price they're paying? Well, it's because MAG shareholders are going to end up owning like 14% of Pan American. So you basically take your MAG shares. They're trading off Pan American right now. So if you're trading MAG, take a look at PASS because that's how they're trading right now. And they're both higher by 2.7% right now as silver. Jump over to First Majestic. Now, First Majestic, huge volume. That's how you like to see it, right? You break above the highs we had in 2024, and we'll see if we can get some follow-through. What is happening on this equity, though, is, you know, look at this area we're bumping up against that many times. You know, this $8 area itself, and then you got highs out here from 2022, but boy, you got to love that volume. Look at that ramp up in volume. This might be making a run for $14. I'm watching these silver stocks. You got to pull back on some light volume on these silver stocks. Risk reward, I think you might be lining up right now. And that is lining up for a good risk reward. That's a real break. Okay, and yeah, you can say, oh man, I missed the break. Well, there was no break before. You wait for a sign of strength. You wait for a pullback on lighter volume. And that increases the risk reward on those trades. Otherwise, you're just trying to catch the falling knife. All right, S&P's back in the green right now. On a daily basis on the S&Ps, you know, you had a big day Friday, but look at the volume. Right? For quite the Jobs Friday, zoom in on it, Jobs Friday, right? Wide price spread. You back down on volume from Thursday's action. That's not how you want to see that happen, man. S&P's right now up by 2, NASDAQ up by 20. Stay tuned, folks. One more segment. Coming right back.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. We have the markets S&P up by 1, NASDAQ 100 up by about 12 right now. And we jump back to yields, taking a look at the 30-year right at 112. You're negative by 4 basis points right now. And the 30-year is sitting at 4.98%, 4.98. And the 10-year is at 4.5. So for simple math, the 30-year is at 5%. And the 10-year is at 4.5%. And we got 2 auctions. Remember, the 10-year is on Wednesday. The 30-year, which is the most important because that has been the weakest in terms of price with the higher yield, is on Thursday, $22 billion in terms of Treasury, pushing out on Thursday. All right, we'll check out some stocks. Google up by 1.1%. You know, it's pretty remarkable. One of the pictures that was out there, do I have it up still? I think I do. was Waymo, the Waymos. The protesters are coming for the vehicles with nobody in them. Thankfully, nobody in them, nobody hurt. I mean, that's where you really don't want to see any headlines for humanity, let alone market, let alone tensions, all that stuff. But yeah, Waymo is on fire everywhere as the computer's getting beaten up over there in the LA riots. But Google, nonetheless, up by 1 percentage point. Meta, up by 0.4%. Tech stocks trading higher. NVIDIA shares this morning catching a bid, up by 1.5. AMD, there you go, up by 3.6%. And yeah, how about Kamiko, man? It's not stopping. Up another 9%. We got gapaways and gapaways. Now, as I was saying, I love this equity, folks. Okay, longer term, I love it. But you're getting a little stretched right now at 65.79 when you just trade from $35. Keep your eye on the volume on that one. But Kamiko up another 8.9% today. Big numbers, man. All right, folks, thanks so much for kicking off your Monday right here with me on the Morning Market Kickoff at TFNN. Stay tuned. We got our man Basil Chapman. He's coming up next. We got our man Steve Rhodes at 11 o'clock. Fast Market at noon. Larry Pesavento live at 1 o'clock. And I'll be back here at 3 o'clock for the final hour of the trading day. S&P's up by 1. Remember, we could have China news at any point right now, whether it's from Chinese state media or the president letting us know how those talks potentially went. Stay tuned for Basil, folks. He's coming up right now. Have a great Monday, everybody.